At an early stage, we teach the children to use resources to add numbers. They can include their fingers, counters, cubes, or a number line, which could simply be a ruler. When they progress to larger numbers, we show them how to partition numbers. So with this example, the children would first add the tens, and 60 and 20 make 80. Then they would add the units, and 7 and 4 make 11. Add that to the 80, the answer is 91. The reason we ask them to add the largest numbers first is that it is what they would most likely do if they were adding mentally, i.e. in their heads. By the time they reach the end of the key stage, we would hope that they would be choosing to use their heads rather than paper for addition calculations involving 2 and even 3-digit numbers. This method of adding the larger numbers first can continue as their chosen method right up to year 6, when they would be adding 4 or 5-digit numbers, although for larger calculations we would encourage using columns. So on this example, the children would add the thousands column first, so 7,000 and 1,000 is 8,000. Then they would add the hundreds, and 600 and 400 make 1,000 or 1,000. They would then add the tens, so that's 40 plus 80, which is 120, before finally adding the units, and 8 and 6 make 14. Those 4 numbers are then added up to give the total. $9,134. In years 5 and 6, or earlier if appropriate, the children will be taught the more compact method as an alternative, particularly useful for larger calculations. So for this calculation, 7,648 and 1,486. This time we would start with the units. 8 plus 6 is 14. 4 there, and carry, we say carry the 1 because the 1 is in effect 10. It's 1 10, so we put it in the tens column. Then we add up what's in the tens column, so that's 4 tens and 8 tens plus the 1 10 at the bottom there. That's 13, or 13 tens. Can't put 13 tens in the tens column, so we put the 3 there and the 10, which in effect is 100, into the hundreds column. We then add up the numbers in the hundreds column, which is 11. So that's 11 hundreds. One of the hundreds will go into the thousands column because effectively 11 hundreds is 1,100. So this goes into the thousands column, and we then add up the thousands, which makes, of course, 9. And we get the same answer as this. Having practiced both methods, the children are free to choose their preferred one, and sometimes that might depend on the calculation. However, if asked to calculate that in their heads, the more able children in year 5 and 6 would actually use a method very similar to this, because one would normally start with the larger numbers.